Because I come back, and I'm like, okay, here we go. And it starts off, this episode, new season, I think I've seen this before. This show just sounds like one I remember seeing last season. Oh yeah, Deuteronomy's just like Exodus and Leviticus. What are they telling me the same thing? Can't I just go back and watch on Hulu the last year's episode? No, because there's a new generation that's rised up who they were not affected by the rebellion of the people. And God's going to let them go into the promised land, but he wants them to obey his word because let me remind us on those teaching moments, if God is going to dwell in your midst, you have to live according to his rule, not yours. And you might not like that because you want to be the master of your own domain, okay? But no, he's the king. You follow his rules. So you go back and you watch and you come to the book of Joshua, the episodes of Joshua. Man, they're exciting. You've read the story. This is how it is. They're going in, they're conquering the land, they're watching around. I mean, how's that for military strategy, right? A lot of military people in here. Is that how you guys do it? Let's march around the wall a few times, blow a trumpet, woo, shout, and we're going to watch the walls fall down. That's good strategy, right? But it works. Because God's doing it. He's taking them into the land. It's going to come to a conclusion. They're going to be in the land. They're going to, all right. But you ever watch TV and there's always those little segments in the middle of an episode. They're like, why did they throw that in there? That's confusing. How did that fit into the story? And you keep reading in Joshua and in Judges where not everyone gets driven out. He's still leaving people into the land. And you come to a verse like Judges 2:23. So the Lord left those nations, not driving them out quickly, and he did not give them to the hand of Joshua. And you think to yourself, wait a second. How's God going to dwell with his people in the land when there's people who don't follow him in the land? That doesn't sound like paradise. Sounds like there's going to be problems and strife. So you're like, oh no, what's going to happen? So you come back and you turn on the next episode and you've got these stories of the judges. And you start going and you start week after week, you read the story of the judges. If you ever watched the episodes of the judges, they're secular. Here they go again. Way to go, Israel. Way to mess up and sin. You're going to go into slavery and be attacked by your enemies. Well, at least you're crying about it now and repenting. God's going to send the deliverer and get you out. Good, now you're back into the land. Are we ready to start yet? There you go, sinning again. There you go, getting punished. Well, you're whining again, so God's going to come and help you and send the deliverer. Okay, good, now you're restored. You ready to go again? There you go again. And it's like, man, every week I'm getting depressed. I'm not even eating popcorn now. My stomach's bothering me so bad. What in the world is going on with this story? But you have this little book between Judges and Samuel, that Ruth. And you watch this episode of Ruth, and you're like, it's a strange little story. Why do they got this story about this Moabite lady? Oh, I remember that episode, what, 2 years ago, that episode of Abraham's going to bless all the families of the earth. So this foreigner, she's being blessed through Boaz, the Jew, who's blessing now the nations. Wow. And then this book ends with the story of this guy. Who's this guy? David. Why does it end on his name? Who's David? I can't wait to come back. Maybe, really? I got to wait all summer for the next season? Man, who's this David guy? So you come back. Is this going to be it? Can we finally get to the end of this story? So you go and you know the story. You watch the first episode. You watch the first episode, and there's no David. Samuel, he seems like a good guy. Saul, hey, Saul's good looking. Well, that counts for something, right? Okay, he's taking care of business. He's going. He's just like the judges. He messes up. God's going to get rid of him. Oh, wait a minute. Who's this little pipsqueak of a shepherd boy? That's David. What's he going to do? That guy can throw a slingshot, let me tell you right now. He knows what he's doing. And he defeats the Goliath. And you know there's great stories of David. And David comes along and David conquers and he becomes a great king and he starts conquering his enemies. And God's going to use him and you get excited and you're like, David's bringing peace into the land, and he's driving the enemies out, and even the ones who are staying in the land are becoming their slaves. So maybe God's going to use this and use David, and you're all excited. And David finally comes to the climax and says, I'm tired of God being in a tabernacle. I'm living in a house. I want to build a house for God. And God says, whoa, David, let me tell you, I make the playing rules, okay? You follow me, I don't follow you. And 2 Samuel chapter 7 is right up there with Genesis 15 of one of those chapters you just need to know. And 2 Samuel 7 and Psalm 89, they kind of go together, and they tell the story that God comes to David through the prophet Nathan, and he says, David, you're not going to build a house for me. Let me tell you what. I'm going to build a house for you. And you can read it in Psalm 89. It says it this way. You have said, I have made a covenant with my chosen one. Talking about God. God has made a covenant with my chosen one. I have sworn to David, my servant, I will establish your offspring forever and build your throne for all generations. Oh, another one of those covenants God makes. But he doesn't put a condition on it. This is the second unconditional covenant. He gave one to Abraham. Now he's given one to David, saying, I'm going to establish your family, and I'm going to establish your throne for all generations. Boom, this is it. It's not going to be David, but it's going to be David's kids. David's kids are going to usher in the kingdom. David's kids are going to bring in the end. They're going to sit on the throne, and they're going to be there because God's dwelling there in the tabernacle, and you got the land, and they're going to bring peace to the land. So you read it, and then, boy, David blows it, doesn't he? Man, dude, murder and adultery, I don't know about you, but that's on my top 10 of things you shouldn't do. And yet God's chosen one does that. But you know what blows your mind? Like one of those episodes, you're just like, oh, whoa, really? Through that illicit affair, through that evil, you're going to raise up Solomon? And you're going to bless Solomon? Whoa, this main character guy, sorry, that sounds disrespectful. This main character, God, he's amazing. The mercy he shows. And he takes this boy, Solomon, and he elevates him. And he lets Solomon become wiser than any man on earth. And Solomon becomes richer than any person on earth. And Solomon's fame is spreading throughout so that people from the Queen of Sheba from Ethiopia, they're coming to hear him. So the nations are coming and they're being blessed by him. So, this must be it. This is it. This is it. This is everything. And not only that, he builds this house. They call it a temple. And God comes. And you find one of those great passages, the great episode where you're watching it. And when the priest came out in the holy place and a cloud filled the house of the Lord so that the priest could not stand to minister because of the cloud. For what? The what? The what? The what? Glory of the Lord filled it. This is it. God's there with his people in the land he promised Abraham, blessing David's son to sit on the throne. This is it, guys. This is it. I'm so excited. Whew, let's have a family party. Come on, everybody, come on. We're going to watch the season finale. It's going to be great. Everybody come on over. We're there. We're passing out pizza. We're splurging. We're going with Coke now. I mean, we're going to get hopped up on caffeine. We're going to watch this. This is going to be the end. Woo! No, come on, boy. One wife's enough. No, come on, 10 wives enough. You don't need 300. You don't. And what are those 700? You got a problem, okay? You got a problem. And we laugh, but do you know how tragic this becomes? Oh, no. Not only is God going to take the throne away, the land becomes divided. Solomon's sons fight, and you have one take over the north, and it's called Israel, and you have another take over the south, it's called Judah. And the show ends, and the lights fade, and you sit there and go, how's it going to end? They can't dwell in the land together. There's divided land. How's God going to be in a divided land? We're back to square one. I can't take it anymore. I don't know about you, I need a break, okay? Let's take a 10-minute break. Just everyone, I just got to get my mind. This show's just blowing my mind. Everyone just go take a 10-minute break.